Money, 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 money. Do you love money? Everybody loves money. How about free money? How about winning the lottery, right? Okay, well, this is almost like winning the lottery because if you had a small business or you're a solo practitioner, or maybe you're a charity, or you've got one of those side gigs where you Uber or play in a band or, sell, Mary Kay or one of those kind of things, and you were doing it during 2020 and 2021. Well, guess what? There's billions of dollars set aside by the United States government, and you are probably entitled to free money. And I don't mean a little bit of money, I mean a lot of money. Gotta love that. So if you want to know how to get some free money, stay tuned because my special guest today is amazing. And she can tell us how to get free, free, free money. So stay tuned. We're going to get rich. Hi, I'm Honey Gregory, and welcome to my channel, Perpetual Learning, where we're always learning because you don't want to be stagnant because, gross. Ew. Who wants to be stagnant? So if you're not learning, you're dying. That's what I always say. I'm so lucky to have an amazing woman with me today. And I know I say everybody's amazing because they are. Everyone's amazing. And I've known this person for a very long time. And I've seen her grow and blossom into this wonderful woman that she is over the, I don't know, like a decade or something. And her new amazing expertise has to do with the certified ERC credits or something like that, right? Because all right, so
Right,
everybody
right.
welcome my wonderful friend Teresa Jewell. And Teresa, you're now an actual agent for this these tax credit things, right? So
Right.
tell us about that because honestly, I don't have a clue.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Michelle. It's always great to get together with you. And like Michelle said, we have known each other for a while, and
Yeah.
and our paths just continue to cross. So we're
Praise the Lord.
fortunate that way.
Yep.
So that is awesome. Well, as far as the tax credits, it's all related to when we were going through the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And so this started in 2020 was when the tax credit started coming out, and this was passed through Congress, and they wanted to do something to help the small businesses.
Oh,
And
yes.
when I say small businesses, we're looking at people. Well, there's a couple of different things. A couple of different tax credits I'm going to talk about, but the first one I'm going to talk about is the employee retention tax credit.
Okay.
And that's the one that most everybody knows about. You've probably seen TV commercials with Kevin O'Leary talking about the employee retention tax credit, and he does an amazing job. He is promoting and getting out there and doing the same thing I am as far as trying to make sure that all the local businesses are aware of what the employee retention tax credit is. And there's just, Michelle, there is so much misinformation out there. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm not
Um,
surprised. I think I saw his commercial, and that was his objective was for all these small businesses to learn about this because they've been
Absolutely.
misinformed, saying you don't qualify, or either the
Right.
regulations or qualifications have changed, and so now people who didn't do, and it's just like this big mess. So
Right.
people need
Absolutely.
people need
Absolutely.
people need Teresa to help them figure this nonsense out because, the government's involved. So, that
Yeah,
says it
yeah.
all right
Well,
there.
right, right. And so, and you're absolutely right. Things have changed since the ERC or the Employee Retention Tax Credit was first passed. Congress reevaluated and they decided that the original CARES Act that they passed didn't encompass enough of the small businesses, that
Yeah.
it was too restrictive. And I can't tell you, Michelle, how many businesses I have gone into and they said, oh, my accountant told me I don't qualify.
Yeah.
And originally they were absolutely right. They did not. But as you said, things have changed.
Hmm.
Done probably five different amendments
Oh,
since it
wow.
first came out. Yeah. And who can keep up with that, right?
Yeah. Especially not the average business owner because they're busy
I
trying to stay in business.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the same thing is true with the accountants. I was reading an article. It was actually from the Illinois accountant group or whatever. Anyway, somebody in Illinois, and they were saying, that the accountants are blowing it, believe it or not, because, like you said, they can't keep up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And there are over 4,000 different tax credits. I mean, can you even believe that?
Oh my gosh, you got to be 4,000.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that
Okay.
just amazing?
Mind
And
blowing.
so I tell them, your accountant was right to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
but things have changed.
Yeah.
And so now you probably do qualify. And so it's definitely worth looking into.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell them how much money they can actually receive from the government, they say, "Oh no, it's too
Yeah.
good to be."
It's
It is.
phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And
Yeah,
you don't have to
yeah.
pay it back. It's like a grant or something, right?
Absolutely. You don't have to pay it back, and you can actually use the money any way you want. So for example, with the ERC, if you have at least two W-2 employees, you can get up to $26,000 per employee. So just think if
Wow.
you had 10 or 100 employees, how much money as a business owner you would be getting back. I
That's
mean, it's
crazy.
mind-boggling,
Yeah.
mind-boggling.
Well, and it might pay off some of those loans that they had to take out during the pandemic,
Right,
just to keep
right.
their doors open. A lot of people were
Yeah,
really struggling because
absolutely,
everything was
absolutely.
shut down and they couldn't do their
Yeah,
business. And
right, right.
yipes, right?
Yeah, right. And I was talking to a business owner today, and he said, "Oh my," he said, "it was just terrible." He said, "We had to close down. We couldn't afford to pay our employees, so we had to
Mm,
close down. But they had to keep working because they were like a print shop or a t-shirt printing type thing, and they said we still had businesses that needed our product or needed something from us.
hmm
So it was the husband and wife that kept the business open.
mm.
So I mean, it was crazy.
Oh my goodness.
And I've just learned so much throughout this entire process.
Wow. It is. I know it's crazy. And a solo practitioner like myself, there's a lot of people who work for themselves, by themselves, and
Right,
we got
right.
nothing. We got nothing.
Well,
I'm
and
waiting for them to amend that because there's a lot of
yeah,
us out there. That's
well,
not
and
fair.
and recently they have, believe it or not, they have finally, well, in all fairness, let me just say that this act for the solopreneurs or the self-employed or your 1099 workers, that just like you and I have talked, we said, wouldn't it be nice to have something for the self-employed?
Yeah.
And there was actually a bill that was passed by Congress at about the same time as the CARES Act. And it just got buried in those 4,000 different tax credits, and it's
Mm.
just now starting to surface.
Oh my gosh.
So there was an act that's passed, and let me make sure I say it right. It's referred to as the FFCRA, I think it is, Families First Coronavirus Response Act.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we just call it the SETC, or the Self-Employment Tax Credit, because that's so much easier than saying all that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you.
I'm not getting echo again like I was, so
Oh,
I wasn't sure.
okay.
Okay. Well, I'm
Okay.
so
All right.
glad that they've done something because, and is that the one you told me to go look at? And I was confused and I need your help.
Right. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow, I think, aren't we? So
I
that'll
hope
be
so.
good. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So with the Self-Employment Act, with that one, you guys can get just a little bit more for yourself as opposed to per employee for the businesses. But if you are a solopreneur, self-employed, 1099, a gig worker, and I never heard that term before. Have you heard that term before, Michelle?
What did you
Gig
say?
worker?
Gig? You said gig worker?
Gig, yeah. I had never heard of
No.
that before. But what it is it is anybody that does these side jobs, like an
Oh,
Uber driver, a pizza delivery person, those kinds of people. They qualify too.
oh my
They
goodness.
qualify too.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. So they have finally decided that, yeah, they needed to do something for the self-employed as well.
Yeah, because a lot of people have side hustles because, they everything's so, excuse me, expensive. I'm not going to get on my
Right.
soapbox, but everything's quadrupled in the last 2 years. And I'm not going
Oh,
to say why.
isn't that just amazing?
Mm,
And unfortunately, with everything going on in the world, we still have to make a living and we got to pay the bills, don't
yeah.
we?
Yeah. And so does these two credits, do they go back and say, okay, we want to know what you're doing in 2020, 2021, 2022? I mean, is there like a certain year that they're specifically
Mhm.
geared towards?
Absolutely, they are.
Okay.
And all of it is based upon the tax years 2020 and 2021.
Mm.
Okay. So going back just a minute for the small businesses, the ERC, they want to look and see if there's different qualifications.
Hmm.
And originally, what the accountant said was, oh, no, you don't qualify, was right originally, because originally you had to have a decrease in revenue, the business did. Well, Congress went back and amended it. And now they said, well, that's not the determining factor. We're going to look at that and see if, and you would be surprised, Michelle, how many businesses say that those were some of our best years during the
Wow.
COVID, that we had such an increase in revenue. It was amazing,
Right. Well,
just
some people
totally
like
amazing.
fast food and stuff like that. I mean, you couldn't get anything
Well,
anywhere else. So yeah,
yeah, that's right. You didn't
yeah,
have any choice, and the grocery shelves were crazy.
yeah. Oh my gosh,
Couldn't hardly find anything.
that's
But
true.
so yeah. So looking, I'll get done with the small business and then start talking about the those
Okay.
of us that are self-employed.
Okay.
But for the small businesses, they can receive up to $26,000 per W-2 employee.
Wow.
So that's amazing. And the nicest thing is, they don't have to pay it back. They can use it any way they want. So, these are things that they've already paid into, and the government has decided, okay, let's look at this. So, I would recommend that, let me know.
Yeah.
We'll see if you qualify, and kind of go from there. There's nothing to figure out if you qualify or not. Okay.
It's a free phone call
Um,
to you, right? I mean, they call you up
Absolutely.
and you go through the
Yeah.
steps and they take a
We'll
few
go through
minutes.
it and,
Yep.
and look at it, and have a preliminary estimate as far as what you might be eligible for. And then we have a whole slew. I work with a company called Tax Prep Advocates,
Okay.
and they are an amazing group. They are the third largest uh, specialty tax firm across the United States.
Oh, wow.
And so these would be people that would be figuring this out for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, one of our main accountants, his name is Stefan Brewer, and he has a direct line to the IRS. I mean, they know him on a first name basis. And so if there's any questions that we have, then all he has to do is call him up and say, hey, And so he's going to sign off. He's going to make sure that everything is done the way it's supposed to be done. Okay.
Wow, that's
Um,
fantastic. Now, this is not just small business. I think I read somewhere that it's for charities too.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's something that everybody forgets. The nonprofits were affected as well.
Yeah.
And so they can qualify too. So
Wow.
yeah, we need to get the word out.
Yeah.
We definitely do, to let them know. That's right. That's
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh, that's crazy
Yeah.
because it's just money, free money sitting there and
That's
the
a lot.
banks
Yeah.
or the government's
Yeah.
gaining the interest on your money and
Right, right.
call
Well, and like
Teresa and
Kevin,
get your money.
that's right. That's right. Let me know. We'll get you on the right
Well, because
track.
if they qualify, that's two people, right? That's what, $52,000. Bang.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
$52,000 for a
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
phone call with Teresa. Bang,
Yeah.
free money.
Uh-huh.
Don't pay back.
That's
Go shopping.
Yep.
Take a
Yep.
trip. Do anything you
That's
want,
right.
right?
Do anything you want.
I'm so
Absolutely. So
jealous. I
I
should have
know,
hired
isn't that
I should
right?
have I should have paid my daughter more that year. So
There you go. That's right.
she would have had a W-2.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Dang it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. One last thing on the small business one. You may or may not have heard that probably about a month ago, I think, the IRS decided at this point in the year that they are not going to accept any new applications, or that's not, yeah, that's right, new applications for the ERC tax credit. The reason why they're going to start taking them again in January, but they're taking a pause and they're stepping back and they're looking at all of the ERC firms that have submitted business. Now,
Mhm.
unfortunately, there's always some bad apples out there, right?
Yeah.
And so there are some ERC firms, we call them ERC mills, all right? Because they're just
Oh.
cranking stuff out. They're not doing their due diligence. They're not doing what they should be doing for the small business owner. And so what the IRS is doing is looking through all of the amended returns that they have right now and weeding out those that aren't doing things right. I mean, there's talked to a person who said, I signed up with such and such a firm. They didn't need any documentation. They
Oh.
just said, oh, you qualify. We'll just go ahead and send it in. So those are the type of
Oh.
firms that the IRS is weeding out.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
And so that's why they're taking a pause. But we're
Okay.
still here. Tax prep advocates. I mean, we've got tax attorneys, um, just all kinds of people that are on the up and up, making sure things are going well.
So can people still
Now,
apply for this then right now?
yes,
Okay.
yes, we are
Okay.
still taking
Okay.
applications. That's no problem at all. We are still doing the applications and getting ready to turn them over to the IRS in January
Ah,
when they start processing them again.
okay.
So the field of people that are doing this is going to start dwindling quite a bit because they're getting weeded out and they're saying you guys aren't legit. So bye bye.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Well, at least it's still
I know.
available and they haven't shut it down because I know there's a lot of unclaimed money. A lot.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, right. So,
Mm.
so, that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in the small business side.
Okay.
And let's switch over to self-employed because
All
that's
right.
kind of where you are.
Yeah.
And like you said, there are so many people out there, and I have visited so many businesses that said, "Oh, well, it's just me.
Yeah.
It's just me, just little
Yeah.
old me. I don't have anybody working for me."
Yeah.
And why don't you get something for me? Well, now we do.
Yeah.
Now we do. Um, so basically what this one does is, like I said, you can get up to $32,220 for yourself. Okay, up to. And I like to stress that if you are a self-employed person who has children at home, and if you have small children, minor children at home, those are the people that are going to get the max. They're going to get the $32,200. Okay.
Wow.
Those of us who don't have small children living at home, or have children living at home, then we're going to get a little bit less than that.
Mm.
But the nice thing about the self-employed tax credit is it only takes 10 days to qualify. So everybody that is a solopreneur is going to qualify. Here's the
Wow.
qualifying thing. Was your business affected for at least 10 days during the pandemic? And that can be you had COVID personally,
Mhm.
you had to stay home and help somebody,
Mhm.
you had your business had to be closed for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And in March, in that March, when all this stuff first started in 2019, everybody was told to quarantine, right? They had
Mhm.
that 10 or 15 days to stop the spread or whatever. So
Yeah.
based upon that alone, everybody qualifies.
Yeah.
And then they want to know, then they ask some other qualifying questions to help determine how much money you actually qualify for.
Mm. Yeah, like me,
So
I came back from spring break and got an email that says, "Oh, we're closed. The school's closed. You're now going to have to stay home with your child."
absolutely.
What?
Yeah,
For the
right.
next 2
Yeah,
months I got to stay home?
yeah,
That
yeah.
was challenging.
Right,
You
right. And
know?
there's a lot of people that were in that situation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just think of all the people that qualify. I mean, based on just
Yes.
that one question.
Mm,
and some of the other questions you have to answer is, how many days was your business affected? And then, like you said, how many days did you have to stay home with the child
yeah. I
because
mean,
schools were closed or they were sick?
well, it's kind of hard sort of to calculate, but because during that 2 months, then you have to rethink everything. It's like now I've got to do phone calls, or I have to do Zoom, or I have to
Yeah,
go buy a bunch of supplies and make sure my chairs are, 6 or 8 feet away from me. I mean, it's like you
right,
still
right,
worked, but you didn't work. You didn't work the same,
right, right.
or
Yeah,
everything was
yeah,
different. You had to, I don't know. It's hard to calculate, like how exactly was
right.
I affected? It was nuts. The whole thing was
Uh-huh.
nuts.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, so to find out if you qualify, there's like 5 or 6 qualifying questions. If you go to my website, there's an interactive video, takes about 90 seconds, and it'll ask you questions, and then it'll say, okay, based on these answers, you qualify for X amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there's only 2 pieces of documentation that you need to provide. The IRS wants copies of your tax returns for 20 and 21,
Mm-hmm.
and they want a copy of your driver's license, and that's all they require.
Okay.
So, the self-employed people really have it easy. If you're a small business, there's quite a bit more documentation that you need.
Yeah.
But, it only takes 10 days for a self-employed person to qualify.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow, Michelle. You
Oh,
and I.
I know. Do we have an appointment? Did I forget to write it down? I better
Well,
look.
after NTI. Are you going
Okay.
to NTI tomorrow?
That is the plan.
Okay, then.
Okay. All right. We'll
We'll
talk a
see
few
each
minutes
other
after that.
then.
I know I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
so much going on.
absolutely.
I forget.
I
I need my
know. I
calendar.
hear you. I hear
So,
you.
wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, if someone wants to get a hold of you, now, can they
Mhm.
come from any state or does it have to be
Doesn't
Indiana?
matter. Any
Okay.
place over across the United States. So I
Okay.
can work with anyone.
Anyone within the
Absolutely.
United States, including Alaska and
Yes.
Hawaii and all those. So all 50 states you
Right,
can do.
right.
All right,
Absolutely.
great. And
Absolutely.
is there a fee? What's the charge?
Good question. So, what we are going to be doing is doing an amended return, actually 2 of them, one for each year. And we ask you to look at your 2019 and 2020 tax returns. And for those 2 years, we want the higher of those two. Okay. And then we'll need your 2021 tax returns. So 19 or 20, whichever's higher, and then the 2021 and a copy of your driver's license. And once we have that, then we'll go through the documentation, make sure how much you're entitled to, and then we'll tell you all of that up front. Once we get to that point and we're ready to actually file your amended tax returns for those 2 years, there is a fee. And because even if you go to your accountant, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
charge you a fee to do an amended return, right?
Right, because you have to do
So
that. What was it called? The amended 941X or something you have to do.
right, that was
Okay.
for your small businesses.
Oh,
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
small
And this
businesses.
one, this one is I'm not sure. It's a
Okay.
1075
Okay. So it doesn't matter
something.
which one you are. If you're the small business or the solo, you're going to have to redo your taxes.
Right. And actually,
Okay.
we do that for you. We do
Okay.
that
Oh,
for
okay.
you. So,
Okay.
so yeah, so we do that. Now, for the self-employed, the SETC file credit, there is a charge. You can decide to pay that up front, or you can wait till the back end when you have money in hand. If you pay it up front, excuse me, there is the charge is $395. That's for 2 years. Okay. And if you wait and pay it once you get your money back on the end, that's 495. Again, that's for both years.
Mm-hmm.
And then with both cases, with the small business and the solopreneur, self-employed, there's a 20% contingency fee on the back end. So, and again, that's once you get your money.
So you're
So
saying you
once you
pay
have,
the fee, and then
Mhm,
depending on how much you're getting back, you get a percentage of that too. Is that right?
correct.
Okay. So if
That's
someone's getting
correct.
$1 million back, then they're going to pay, what'd you say? Like the the certain amount down and then 20% of
The
whatever you get.
20%, right.
Okay.
Now, if they're a small business, they don't have to pay to have their amendment refiled.
Mm,
Okay. So, and the reason for that, I think, is because the amount of money they're going to get back is so much greater than what the self-employed person is
mm,
doing. And the self-employed is, of those two categories, the self-employed is paying the to file for the amended returns. Both of them have to pay the 20% at the end.
mm.
And that is pretty standard from what I've been able to gather with lots of, with the other companies that are doing this. They range from anywhere from 15 to 30% as far as the contingency fee. So we're kind of right there in the middle.
Right.
One of the reasons that one of the things that we're finding happening is a lot of the ERC firms were averaging, that's where the W-2 employees, the businesses could get 26,000 per W-2 employee. We are averaging somewhere around 19 or 20,000 per employee. A
Wow.
lot of the other ERC firms are averaging, and not only the firms, but a lot of the accountants too, are averaging closer to 10 to 12,000 per
Oh,
employee. So
that's
we're digging.
interesting.
I mean, yeah, it is. And it's just we're doing our due diligence and really plugging in there and getting everything we can. And we do
Awesome.
the same thing with the self-employed too. But we do guarantee, we do stand behind our work. Okay.
Okay,
So,
that's good to know. Yeah.
if there's, and that's what makes us different. I mean, we have audit protection, we have errors and omission insurance on each client.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to do it right.
Yeah. Well, those are important things. You don't want to mess
Right,
up.
right. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
That's for
exactly.
sure.
Wow, this is phenomenal. This is so crazy. I mean, so let me make sure I understand. 26,000 per for small business is 26,000 per employee, W-2
Right.
employee. And it was
Absolutely.
32,200 for solo person. So it's a little bit more
Right.
for the solo person because they're just by themselves, I guess, wearing all the
Absolutely.
hats. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then you pay the upfront fee if you're solo and then the contingency fee. But if you're a small business, you only pay the contingency fee because the
Correct.
amount
You
is
got
going to
it.
be so big because you have multiple W-2 employees.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All
Absolutely.
right.
Hopefully that makes sense.
No, that does once it kind of gets in my head. Got to
Yeah,
get those
yeah, I
numbers
hear
in
you.
there.
I hear you.
Yeah. And so I went on there and clicked
Mhm.
on it and started asking all these weird questions. I'm like, Teresa. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you because I want to make sure I do it right and get you guys
Right,
everything that you
absolutely.
need and see where we go from there. Because Mama wants some money. That's all I'm going to
There you
say.
go. And the nice thing about the self-employment one is they're still paying those out this year, so you don't have to wait till January. And the turnaround time, gosh, that I heard for the self-employed, we're saying, 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully, but some of them are getting them quicker than that.
Wow.
So, I mean, they have the money by Christmas. Wouldn't that be nice?
Ooh, yeah, vacation. Take a little
That's
trip.
right.
Go
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah.
warm.
That's true. That's
That would be
true.
fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, is there anything else that you can think about? I mean,
Um, let's see. Oh, on the self-employed, there are a couple other things I want to mention.
okay.
So, we talked about the 1099 workers. Those can be subcontractors. So your painters, your construction workers. Then also you've got your nail technicians, your hair
Mm,
salons, barbershops, um, painters. Let's see what else. We talked about the gig workers.
mm-hmm.
If you're a single member LLC,
Mm-hmm.
so that will work. And some S corp individuals can work as well. And then the other thing I wanted to mention are your network marketers. People forget about them. So, like
Hmm.
your Young Living Oils, doTERRA, Neora, Tupperware. Um, Gosh, I can't even think of any others. I know there's bunches and bunches out there.
Wow,
So
you need
any
to talk to some more people in our group because I
I
know we've got
know,
some of
that's
those
right.
people.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
if you play in a band, if you
Mm-hmm.
drive Uber, pizza delivery, all of those things. So almost anybody you can think of qualifies either for the small business or the self-employment. So
Wow. That's incredible. I'm so
yeah,
excited.
yeah.
Well, I'm an S corp. I'm an LLC. So I still
Okay.
qualify,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Still
So,
qualify.
because
Absolutely.
most people who work for themselves do have the, and knowledge and guidance to start some sort of LLC or something to protect them.
Right. Right.
But oh my gosh. Okay. So
Yeah.
now I noticed when I went to your website or one of the websites that you provided for me, it
Uh-huh.
also said that if someone wanted to become an agent, they could join your group or something. Is that right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yes.
how does that and what in the world is that?
Okay, so if you want to do what I'm doing and
Mm-hmm.
you've got, some people like Michelle, I know you've got a great network of people that you know. And I was talking to a gentleman today who does a lot of things, involved in BNI, involved in the building associations, the Bosca or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Mm-hmm.
was real excited about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's basically all you have to do is talk to your friends, talk to people let them know about this.
Mm.
And that's the hard part is finding people, that that are willing to listen and talk to you just a little bit, right? And you don't have
Yeah.
to do any of the hard work. You don't have to file the taxes or the
Yeah.
amendments or anything like
Right.
that. You do the fun part, getting to talk to people, which
You're
is
like
always fun.
you're like the
Yeah.
liaison, the person
Absolutely,
who goes out and
absolutely.
makes
Right.
friends and gets to bring
Yeah,
them in
yeah,
and help them get a bunch of
yeah.
money. Now, I did
So
just
I
sorry,
mhm,
something just popped in my head. So
sure.
next year they're slowing the ERC down right now to
Right,
reevaluate to
right.
what's going on.
Yeah,
And then in January they're opening back up. But is
right.
there going to be an expiration date? Like if you don't
Absolutely.
get it in by a
Great
certain time, you're a
question.
done deal.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, when is that?
So businesses and solopreneurs, self-employment people, you have for 2020, you have to have everything done by this coming April. So
Oh.
that's getting here real, real fast. I mean, you can still do for the 2021, but you want to get both years. So it's
Mhm.
nice to just go ahead and get both of them done now
Yeah.
because in 2025, unless Congress decides to extend it, then this is going to be over and the money's going to be gone. Well, you're not going to be able to access the money regardless of whether there's still money in the bank or not.
Yeah.
And golly, I heard that there are still over 80% of small businesses out there that either have not filed because it's from the government. And is
Well,
this
it's
really
scary. I
true?
mean, they're like,
Yeah,
is
I know, I
this a
know.
joke? And what do I have to do? And,
Right, right.
they're
And I know I
imagining
talked to
hours and hours and hours of dealing with it.
Yeah, you'd probably get done if you sat down and you have access to your paperwork, you can get done in 2 hours maximum. And
Wow.
then all you gotta do is wait for the money to roll in. But sharing a conversation I had with a gentleman, this was when I was first getting started doing this, and I respect this opinion. They said, I don't want anything from the government. If it's from the
Mm.
government, I don't want anything to do with it. And I said,
Hmm.
I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's sometimes the government doesn't help us out.
Yeah.
But by the same token, you file your taxes every year. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
Well, and you take the credits that are due you, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah. Well, this is no different, you
Yes.
know? It's
Yes.
something that, you have to file, you have to redo your taxes, and you're entitled to the money just like you are for these other deductions.
Hmm.
So, you might as well give it a try. Somebody's going to get the money if you don't, or it's just
Yes.
going to sit there.
Yeah, exactly. And then, then the government will, spend like $1 billion on a hammer or something, something
That's
silly.
right. Absolutely.
You hear all these
Absolutely.
crazy stories like that,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
wow,
Yeah.
this is great. And I think it's just amazing what you're doing. And So I will put all of your information down in the description. So if you guys like this
Perfect.
video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe, because every week my goal is to bring you great information like this that you need from wonderful people that I meet along the way. So we both can learn. So everybody can learn, because
Absolutely.
I learned so much just talking to you, Teresa, about, what, and then you explain to them like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is amazing. Now I'm telling other people about you.
Yeah.
And that's just how it
Thank
has
you.
to
Thank
work,
you.
right? And
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
so if anybody out there knows anybody with a small business or solo practitioner or has a gig on the side, they got their little side job, they need to call Teresa, because there are tens of thousands of dollars that might be out there just waiting for them. And it does expire. So you guys need to get on it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right. And if you want to join my team, I'd be happy to talk to you about that too. I need team members.
There you go. Because it's, everybody helping everybody. Everybody makes money then. Oh, then they'd have another gig, wouldn't they?
That's right. That's right.
That sounds fantastic. There you go. Okay, so any last minute thoughts or any inspirational things you want to impart some wisdom on us in any way, shape, or form?
um, yeah, just get out there and take advantage of it. Like
Yeah,
Kevin O'Leary says, it's out there in the parking lot. Go get
yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
there, but you got to
yeah.
do something. It's not going to come to you. You got to go to it. So
Yes,
let me know. We'll get you all set up. And if you need another side gig, hey, I can help with that.
that is fantastic. Wow, I love it. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you so much.
Oh,
You're a blessing to
Michelle.
everybody, and I just still think you're a beautiful, amazing woman. You're just so kind, and
Oh,
you radiate such
thank
a
you.
good
Thank
positive
you.
energy when you come into the networking group, and I do appreciate that, because you do have, occasionally you get these people in that are just like, you know yeah, but you're not one of those, so you're always fun to be around,
Well,
and
good.
I enjoy you
Well,
so
Michelle,
much.
thank you so much for having me on. I appreciated it. And
Thanks.
and I'm glad that we've been able to keep in touch over the years, and
Yes,
hopefully we have many more things that we can share with each other as the future goes on as well. So,
amen to that, girl. Amen to that.
all
So,
right, all
well, you have
right.
a great, wonderful, blessed rest of the day, and
You
I'll
too.
see you in the
You
morning.
too. All right. And you are amazing. I mean, you have
Aw,
so many different talents and
aw.
abilities that you never fail to amaze me. So keep going.
All
Keep
right.
going.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
All
that.
right.
Very inspirational. Thank you. All right. So
Thank you, Joan.
for today, I thank you and bless you and appreciate you. And I look forward to the next time. All right.
All
See you
right.
tomorrow.
Sounds good. All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.